Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Maine Morgue. My name is Jimmy Santamore, the host for the show as always. First off, I want to say congratulations to the Chicago Cubs for winning the World Series for the first time in 108 years. I actually watched that game, thought it was an amazing game, probably the best baseball game I've ever seen. Keep in mind I'm only 38 years old. But congratulations to both teams. Thank you to the Cleveland Indians for putting up such an amazing fight in Game 7, making it an amazing baseball game. I got some exciting stuff I want to talk about this week. I'm going to just jump right in. A little bit of a different look this week with the suit coat and everything. And I'm trying out some new headphones with the little microphone here to make it hopefully sound better for you guys. First up, I want to talk about movie talk. And before I get into that, the reason I'm wearing the suit coat is because I was asked if I would try wearing a suit coat on the show to give it more of a professional feel. A special shout out to my wife Mandy for getting me this really cool goblet to drink out of. It goes with the horror theme. So movie talk this week. I have 3 movies that I want to talk about this week. First up, Central Intelligence, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Kevin Hart. Great movie. I thought it was very funny. The Rock was funny, and Kevin Hart is funny as always, and I think the two of them together make an incredible comedy team. Very cool story, good twists and turns. I wasn't sure if The Rock was the good guy, the bad guy, somewhere in between. Solid writing in this, and I think comedy is something that is very difficult to write, very hard to piece together what's funny and what's not, and what will make people laugh and what will make people go, yeah, that's not funny. Why would you write something like that? Everything worked well together, the cast, the crew, the writing, and what we saw on screen. Very well. I've never tried to write a comedy before, although I've had people tell me that I'm very funny. But I think comedy is like the hardest thing for anybody to write. And very rarely do I laugh like out loud continuously at comedy movies. But this was one where I kept laughing and kept laughing. Like, oh my God, that was funny. And something would happen later in the movie that would make me think about something that happened prior in the movie, and I would start laughing all over again. So I gave this movie a 4 out of 5 stabs because I thought it was very funny. I really enjoyed the entire viewing experience from beginning to end. I really liked a lot of the people that were in the movie that, I obviously couldn't mention all of them. But again, I would love to see Central Intelligence 2 or even anything with The Rock and Kevin Hart in it. Even if it's not Central Intelligence. I think they're an amazing comedy duo. Next up, I want to talk about Trick or Treat, which is a Halloween tradition in my house. My wife and I sit and watch this movie every Halloween night after we get back from taking our kids trick-or-treating. This is an awesome movie from beginning to end. If you have not seen it, check it out. Great casting, very well written. It's an anthology. I really enjoy the characters and all of the stories. They're all intertwined. If you look carefully, you can see all the characters in everybody else's story and how it all wraps up in the end. My only knock on this movie is when the little kid says Charlie Brown's an asshole, because I'm a huge Peanuts fan. I have a Snoopy tattoo on my right calf and a Woodstock tattoo on my left forearm, on my left bicep rather, because I'm such a huge Peanuts fan. But that's my only knock really on the movie. I love the special effects, the makeup effects, the storytelling, everything about this movie I really enjoyed, which is why I gave it a perfect score of 5 out of 5 stabs. I highly recommend this movie for Halloween viewing or any day of the year really. It works. It's an enjoyable movie. It's fun to watch. You enjoy different parts of it. Anna Paquin is actually in this movie, who I think is a phenomenal actress. in everything she does. Comic book fans would know her as Rogue in the original X-Men series. And lastly, in movie talk this week, oh no, I guess I only had 2 movies. I must have decided not to talk about one. You know what? I will throw in Friday the 13th, the remake. I just watched that actually last night with my wife. I'm recording this very late on Sunday night because I have a prior engagement Monday. Excuse me. The remake of Friday the 13th I thought was very well done. Jared Padalecki is in it. Danielle Panabaker is in it. Travis Van Winkle is also in this movie, as well as Willa Ford, who does a very daring nude scene in this movie. She's the girl that is jet skiing topless before she's killed ultimately by Jason. I mean, then again, everybody is killed in this movie by Jason, except for Jared Padalecki's character, who somehow is the survivor. Kind of brings no meaning to the word final girl, I guess. Anyways, I thought the action in this movie was really good. I like the fact that the writers took elements of parts 1, 2, 3, and a little bit of 4 and put this movie forward and put it out and created all that stuff. My favorite kill has to be when Jason, who was played by Derek Mears, who's an amazing Jason, throws the axe and hits the guy, and he's screaming and all that stuff, and try to get his friends in the house to help him, and Jason flips him over and shoves his body through shoves the axe through his body. I thought that was brilliant. It's funny, I came up with a lot of little quips during the movie last night when I was watching it with my wife for every death, and every time she'd just look at me like this, she'd look across at me like, seriously? You're actually going to say that? And I did, because that's just fucking how I am. If I had to rate Friday the 13th, the remake, Friday the 13th 09 is what some people call it, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stabs, because there were things that, like, I didn't like the ending. When Jason jumps out of the, out from underneath the deck, or, did you call it a deck? I don't know. And grabs the girl and brings her back into the water. It didn't make much sense to me. I thought maybe they should have just left Jason attached to the chain with the wood chipper and left it at that. And then at the beginning of the next movie, you could show Jason gone. But anyways, that's the only knock I really have on the movie. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about the DC television universe. On the CW, I'm not including Fox's Gotham, because that's its own separate little thing. Arrow, I really like the new team. I was a little about Wild Dog for a while, but I kind of like him now. He's growing on me. I like the girl. I can't remember what they call her, but I think they're eventually going to groom her to be the new Black Canary. This Prometheus character is something that very, very much interests me. I want to know how they're going to play it and who it's ultimately going to be. Last up for Arrow, I want to talk about Oliver and Felicity. I truly believe that they will end up getting back together sometime during this season, and that they're just dating these other people, because, I mean, Oliver's kind of going to try to date this reporter, I guess, and she's dating the police detective. I think they're going to end up getting back together at some point during the season. Next up, I want to talk about The Flash and the new Dr. Wells, or HW, I guess is what he wants to be called. I don't really know where that character is going. I don't know what the basis of his story is going to be. Wally getting powers and becoming a speedster like Barry is something that I'm very much in favor of, because I really think the Flash having a speedster sidekick would be very helpful to him at this point in the development of things. And last up, Dr. Alchemy, which I believe is being voiced by Tobin Bell. Horror fans would know him as Jigsaw from the Saw series. That's a very interesting character for me because I'm not a comic book fan, and people who, if you have insight as to who Dr. Alchemy is in terms of the comic books, please get at me at the Maine Morgue on Twitter, or email me themainmorgue@gmail.com to let me know more about Dr. Alchemy. I tried looking some stuff up, but I don't want to spoil it for myself. But if you could help me understand the character a little bit better, that would be great. Legends of Tomorrow. I like the fact that they're using time pirates and as the quote-unquote villains this year. I think it's an interesting show. I really enjoyed the first season. Ray, the new Captain Cold. I think that's very interesting as him and Rory kind of have a love-hate relationship. And Captain Lance, which is something that Arrow fans will think is hilarious because her father back in the Arrowverse is the former police captain, Captain Lance. So that's a kind of an inside joke. It's kind of funny if you think about it. I really like Sarah Lance, or the White Canary, as the new captain of and new leader of the Legends. It'll be interesting to see where they go over the course of the season. Hopefully they lead into something really cool. I know there's supposed to be a 4-part crossover sometime this season with Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, and Legends, so that should be very interesting. Last up, I'm going to talk about Supergirl. There are new aliens. Catco Worldwide Media has a new boss in Jimmy Olsen, or James Olsen, I guess he's going to go by now. And Kara has a new job. She's a reporter for Catco World Media. Supergirl, I thought was really cool that they brought Superman in for the big relaunch on CW. I guess we're going to get Cyborg Superman at some point during the season. I was reading online earlier today. I really love Supergirl. I'm really glad it got picked up by the CW. I think all 4 DC shows that are on the CW Monday through Thursday are incredible shows. I'm a huge fan of them. And I actually started watching The Flash from episode 1. And then when they did the Arrow Flash crossover, I started watching Arrow. So I was, 2.5 or 3 seasons behind, or 2.5 seasons, I think, because it was in the 3rd season of Arrow. Flash is the reason I started watching Arrow, and then I went and got Arrow seasons 1 through 3 for Christmas last year for my family because I wanted to catch up. Season 4 is out. I am going to go pick that up, hopefully either before Christmas or I will get it for Christmas from somebody. That would be awesome. I'm putting it on my Christmas list for sure. Mother-in-law, I hope you're getting this message. So that's what I think of the DC TV universe outside of Gotham. Gotham, I think, is an incredible show. Sometimes it's hard to follow for me or hard to get interested in because I'm used to the Batman universe being Batman versus the bad guys. And this is Jim Gordon and the Gotham Police Department against the bad guys. But, I mean, I watch the show every week, and it's a good show. I think that if they progress it further and Bruce Wayne eventually does become Batman, I think you'll get a bigger reaction from fans. But I think hardcore Batman fans are enjoying this. I could be wrong. Feel free to hit me up and talk to me about it. All right, next up, I'm going to do my 6-pack of fan questions, as I always do. I believe this is the 3rd week that I've been doing it. So here we go. Which show do you like better, Scream or Scream Queens? Well, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges here, because Scream Queens is a parody and Scream is a horror TV show based on a very successful film franchise, or using the same name I won't say based on, because that aggravates me when fans say that. I would say that I enjoy watching Scream Queens better than I do Scream, because I do like the levity of Scream Queens. I'm a huge Emma Roberts fan. I'm also a huge Abigail Breslin fan. Scream for me is more intellectual in that I enjoy watching it to think about who the killer is and try to figure it out before the end of the season. Whereas Scream Queens, I watch to enjoy as a humorous, entertaining show. I don't really care so much who the killer is, more as I like to see what happens from week to week. So I would say Scream Queens is more enjoyable from a television viewing standpoint, but Scream is better for my horror side, if that makes sense. Next question. What is your favorite food? Now, if you ask my executive producer, Chris Fife, this question, he will say that Jamie's favorite food is pizza. I eat pizza on set when we're on lunch break every time we're on set, and I will tell you why. Because I'm a vegetarian, and my favorite food is tacos. I use vegetarian hamburger, and I make tacos here in my house. But I can't find any place that offers a vegetarian taco option. And usually we go to the local House of Pizza. We usually go to the one here in Bridgeton. We've been to the one in Cumberland, which, amazing food. House of Pizzas have amazing food. B-Hop is my favorite. I'm not going to lie. But my favorite food is tacos. And I love they're made by Old El Paso. And they are the Doritos taco you get from like Taco Bell. But Old El Paso made a similar product. I absolutely love those. And I don't usually eat hard tacos. I love soft tacos. Because I'll buy a taco kit and I'll make burritos out of it. I'll roll it up, you know what I mean? But I absolutely love the Old El Paso Doritos style taco. So that is my favorite food. Next question. Do you prefer pro wrestling or pro sports? I've been a lifelong pro wrestling fan since I went to my first show when I was 2 months old. You can ask my mother. We were in Georgia, Thanksgiving night. I'm not sure what company it was. I would imagine it was Mid-South or Jim Crockett Promotions. It might have been Georgia Championship Wrestling. My mother would know. So I've been a lifelong pro wrestling fan, but I also enjoy my pro sports. I mean, I kicked off the show by talking about the Chicago Cubs. I would be wearing my Cubs hat, but I'm wearing a suit coat, and I don't think baseball caps and suit coats really work well. I just spent the day watching the New York Giants versus the Philadelphia Eagles football game. I started watching my Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens, and I couldn't fucking do it. I'm just like, oh my god, this game is fucking horrible. But anyways, I would say on a weekly basis, I probably watch more pro wrestling than I do pro sports. I mean, like I watched Game 7 of the World Series last Wednesday. But then I turned around on Thursday and watched 2 hours of Impact Wrestling. So, and I mean, I watched the 3 hours of Raw. I watched the 2 hours of SmackDown. I watched the hour of NXT on Wednesday, or I usually watch it Thursday mornings. And I also watched the 2 hours of Impact Wrestling on Thursday. So, and I watched the 1 hour of wrestling on ROH Wrestling it's on very early Saturday morning, so I watch it Saturday night on DVR. So hours per week, I probably watch more pro wrestling. Pro sports for me is something that I watch on Sundays. I'll watch football. Occasionally, I'll click on a baseball game or a football game. Friday night, I actually watched the Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors. It was on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't watch basketball that often. But playoff time, I watch all sports because playoff time is when it counts. And while football is my favorite professional sport because it is such a short season and every game truly does matter, I do watch the baseball playoffs. I do watch the basketball playoffs. I love hockey. I'm actually wearing a Boston Bruins 1972 Stanley Cup Championship ring that my wife got me, 4 or 5 months ago. I'd been eyeing it on Amazon for months, and she got it for me for a birthday present. I absolutely love this ring. It's heavy, but I like it. And she actually bought me ring sizes so I could wear it on my ring finger. But anyways, to answer the question, I probably prefer watching pro wrestling because I can escape from reality and enjoy the stupid storylines and all the make-believe hoopla that goes along with watching, for example, World Wrestling Entertainment. I very much enjoy Ring of Honor Wrestling, which is old school pro wrestling, hard-hitting, what we call American Strong Style. Excuse me. So I would have to say professional wrestling. Next up, best advice you can give somebody and the best advice you've ever received. The best advice I can give somebody, and I assume you mean that's trying to break into the entertainment field, I would have to say the best advice I could give somebody is follow your dream, follow your heart. As long as you are passionate about what you're doing, don't worry about anybody else. Stay true to yourself, fight hard, and eventually you will reach your goals. The best advice I ever received, I would say it would be to never give up. Always keep fighting, always keep moving forward, never back down. I've been told that by so many people, and it's always stuck in my head. Next up, stage blood or homemade blood? Well, I'll tell you, homemade blood made with household, food and dye and food coloring and all that stuff cleans up a hell of a lot easier than stage blood. Stage blood is very thick, it's very sticky, it stains very easily, whereas if you use corn syrup, red food coloring, fruit punch, a little bit of chocolate sauce, you'll find that it cleans up off of floors very easily. So I personally use homemade blood when I do work with blood in my movies. Last question of the week. How did you create Mortis and the town of Sandy Creek? A couple of funny stories. First up, how did I create Mortis? Mortis, when I wrote the story for Sins of Man, Rise of Mortis, was nobody. It was nobody and it was everybody. I didn't have a costume in mind. Originally, Mortis was going to wear all black. Black boots, black jeans, black shirt, black sweatshirt, hoodie sweatshirt with a black zipper, black gloves, a ski mask, and have the hood pulled up. And that was it. The reasoning behind that was because that could be anybody. It could be you, it could be me, it could be your sister, your brother, your cousin, the guy that mows your lawn, the mailman, the police chief. It could be anybody. When I started thinking about it, I wanted to give my character a costume. Something that could become synonymous with Mortis, synonymous with our movies, synonymous with the character that played it. So I reached out to California Costumes Collections Incorporated and asked to use their horror robe in the movie. They would retain all rights to said costume. I would retain the rights to use it in the movies and all marketing for said movies. They were gracious enough to let us do that. We made that agreement. I signed the agreement. They signed the agreement. And that's basically how the Mortis costume was created. I originally didn't want to use a costume, but for branding purposes, we went with a costume. As for the town of Sandy Creek, I live in a housing complex in Maine, and the name of the complex is Sandy Creek Apartments. When we were looking for Sandy Creek Apartments, when we came to look at this place, everybody told me it was on Sandy Creek Road. I thought, Sandy Creek Apartments, it must be on Sandy Creek Road. Locals call Sandy Creek Road the dump road, because that's all that's on that fucking road. And then, there's a few houses here and there, but it's mainly the dump road. So we're driving up Sandy Creek Road. Can't find the place. So the person that brought us up to the apartments goes, "Oh, you mean Sandy Creek Apartments? It's on Swamp Road." Okay. So we drive up here, and there's a big sign that says Sandy Creek Apartments. When I was creating Sins of Man, I needed the name of a town. I was on a walk, and I was thinking, oh, there's got to be a town. Come on, think, Jamie, think. And I started thinking of names of like mills and brooks and things like that. And I walked past the sign, and I said, son of a bitch. I got home to my apartment, and I wrote it down, Sandy Creek, and it just clicked. I'm like, that's it. They live in the town of Sandy Creek, which is right next to Springwood. Springwood, of course, is the fictional town in Ohio where the Nightmare on Elm Street series takes place. And it's actually the place where the state police barracks are in Sins of Man 2 Vengeance. It is just across the town line in Springwood, Maine, which I don't believe there is a Springwood, Maine. I could be wrong. And according to Google Maps, there's only one Sandy Creek in the entire United States, and it's in New York. Ha ha ha, fooled you all. So that is how I came up with Mortis and the town of Sandy Creek. Next up, I want to give you guys an update on Wicked Carnival Productions. I'm currently 44 pages into the sci-fi script and 20 pages into my latest slasher movie script. I edited an untitled action movie, which will probably go back on the shelf, even if it does get a title, because I was reading through it as I was editing it, and there are a shit ton of explosions in that movie and a lot of gunfights. So our prop department is going to have to become very rich if I want to make a movie like that. And I started editing Wicked Carnival in hopes that that will be bumped up on our production schedule, because I would really like to make Wicked Carnival a reality, because I think you guys would really enjoy it. A little bit about the new slasher project. I hinted about it on Facebook earlier today, actually. A lot of fans come up to me and say it is your job as an indie filmmaker to create fresh, new, exciting, never touched upon subjects. And I took that to heart. When I got the idea for this, I said, oh, that's never really been done before. You guys all want fresh, new, and exciting. Well, here it is. And I'm very excited about this project. It's probably going to be up in the next couple of years on the production schedule. I'm going to talk to Chris and see if we can't do it after Sins of Man 3 Tribulation and before the sci-fi movie, which is about halfway done being written, as I just said, about 44 pages in. Which leads me to the final subject this week. I absolutely love doing this show for you guys. I love talking about movies and my experiences and my favorite TV shows and sports and all that fun stuff here on the Maine Morgue. And that's the reason I started this show, because I like talking to you guys. It's fun to do. It gives me a platform to talk to you guys, my fans from all over the world. Apparently, I have a lot of fans and a fan following in Europe, which is pretty fucking cool if you ask me. Mostly American fans watch this show. I pay attention to that stuff on YouTube. Thank you guys who have commented on my videos, by the way. I truly appreciate that, and I always try my damnedest to reply back to you guys, because I think it's important to always have an open line of communication that goes both ways. I mean, and I hope even if I become big, rich, and famous and move to Hollywood and make all these big budget movies, I hope I never lose sight of how important you guys are to my success, because I can't do this without you guys. None of us can, and I think a lot of the time people lose sight of that, and I hope to never do that. People ask me if I'm going to add things to the channel. Like I've added the weekly Horror Pack indie movie review video. And I like doing that. It's fun. It's not like I don't have a shit ton of horror movies from Horror Pack. And I keep getting new ones every month. So I want to do that, but I'm not going to add a third show. I don't want to say that. a third regularly taped show. I mean, I did the bonus video for the Scream Halloween special because that just blew me away. And I'll do things like that, but I'm not going to water down my channel with a new video every day because I don't have time for that, to be honest. I'm trying to do a million different things outside of the Maine Morgue. I run Wicked Carnival Productions on a day-to-day basis, so I don't really have time to do 7 videos a week because I am a husband and a father, and I do have other responsibilities. But if I were to start a Patreon campaign and start being paid to make more videos and add more content, that would be something that I would be willing to explore. I don't do Patreon because I don't think I should be paid to do these videos. I do them for fun. It's my way of reaching out to the fan base. I love talking to you guys. That's why I freely give out my Twitter account and my email and my Facebook page at the end of all of these videos, because I want you to contact me. I want to be in contact with you because I think it's important. You guys have great ideas. You guys ask me really cool, interesting questions that I don't get asked on a daily basis. And I will still do the bonus video every once in a while if a show or a movie or something just blows me out of the water. But I'm not going to add a third show to the weekly schedule. And if I do, I want you guys to have a lot of input into it as to what it's going to be. So if you have suggestions or ideas, or even ideas you want me to talk about here on the Maine Morgue, get at me. I'm always available. I get everything right here on my phone. My emails, my tweets, my Facebook, all of it's linked to my phone. So I'm very open to talking to fans. I really enjoy doing it. I really enjoy doing this show. So thank you so much for watching this week. I greatly appreciate it. Email me, tweet me, Facebook me. Tell me what you thought about the suit coat, if you like it, or if you'd rather stare at my tattoos for the half hour or whatever I'm on every week. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. Subscribe to the channel so you get all the cool updates and everything. Stay humble, stay hungry, everybody, and I will catch you guys on, I guess it's going to be shot on Thursdays and uploaded on Saturdays by Horror Pack Indie Movie Review. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next week.